Hello and welcome to the 2021 ATC seminar. My name is Victor Tan and I am the convener of the SIGRE Australia D2 panel on Information Systems and Telecommunications. Today I'll be presenting the highlights and events of Study Committee D2 in 2021, both internationally and in Australia. I will also be describing the trends observed by Study Committee D2 in the areas of telecommunication, information systems and cybersecurity, and those observed within the Australian context as well. Finally, I will close with what's in store in 2022. Study Committee D2 is one of the 16 panels in SIGRE. The purpose of D2 is to promote knowledge exchange based on the collective experience of more than 30 member countries represented in the Study Committee D2 and based on extensive work that SIGRE has undertaken as a leading source of expertise in the power industry through working groups and publications. The three main areas of focus for D2 are information systems, cybersecurity, and telecommunication. The Paris Virtual Centennial Session was held in August this year via web conferencing with more than 80 attendees for D2. As an extension of the 2020 Paris session, a total of 58 papers from 27 countries, addressing the three preferential subjects shown on the slide, were discussed using the contributions format. A contribution is a short comment, typically around 5 to 10 minutes, presented by any participant during the session. The contribution addresses the key topics covered by the preferential subjects. There were a total of 31 contributions presented during the D2 session. Through feedback from study committee member country reports, the virtual centennial contributions and papers, there were three main observations by study committee D2. The first observation was the cybersecurity challenges to the power industry. The cybersecurity threat landscape is ever evolving and continues to do so at a very rapid pace. This is especially true with the adoption of new technologies such as industrial IoT, cloud-based platforms, and interconnection and information exchange between market participants, all of which create not just opportunities, but also the cybersecurity challenges that come along with these opportunities. We also see increasing conversations around regulation and standards that apply to the power utility as a critical infrastructure. The second observation was the opportunities that new applications using technologies such as big data, AI, virtualization, and blockchain. We have observed that utilities are starting to take advantage in improving data management using artificial intelligence and machine learning. An emerging use case for these new technologies is condition-based asset monitoring to improve upon the utility's asset replacement and maintenance policy. An interesting observation is some utilities' exploration into the use of nascent technologies like the blockchain. There is a growing interest in exploring the potential of blockchain in energy trading applications using smart contracts. The third observation was the continued journey of utilities around the world in network transformation and migration from legacy telecommunication systems. Packet-based networks using technologies such as IP-MPLS and MPLS-TP have become the dominant de facto choice in replacing legacy telecommunication systems such as SDH and PDH. Interest in 5G has intensified in the previous 2 years. This is a reflection of the promises that 5G as a technology of what it would provide in terms of vast improvements and new use cases over previous generation cellular technologies. However, more work needs to be done in exploring the real-world feasibility of these use cases, which are underway in some utilities and in SIGRE D2 working groups. Overall, it's very interesting and encouraging to see the wide spectrum of technologies being explored to bring engineering solutions to the power utilities, OT, and IT environments. Working groups are the main knowledge engine in SIGRE. These are groups formed with a specific purpose to study a particular topic. Some of the topics being covered by the working groups are cybersecurity, condition monitoring, Internet of Things, and 5G. Each working group consists of experts from various countries. The life cycle of a D2 working group is typically 2 to 3 years from inception of the working group to its conclusion, at which a document called a technical brochure is produced. Shown on the slide are the current active D2 working groups. The working groups highlighted in red are those with Australian member participation. In 2021, D2 has produced a new technical brochure on cybersecurity, which describes the cybersecurity issues and recommendations in contingency scenarios, such as after a major outage or disaster situation to the power network. For example, considerations during a statewide outage which requires emergency manual system overrides to bypass the usual operational and security controls, and how soon to re-enable these cybersecurity controls to reduce cybersecurity threats and exposure whilst recovering from these emergency events. Two new working groups were launched, one on cybersecurity regulations and another on 5G. Two interesting articles have been published on the SIGRE Future Connection newsletter this year, one on the use of augmented reality and another on industrial IoT. On the Australian front, the Australia D2 panel, which consists of 24 panel members, has continued to have consistent participation from the panel members despite COVID travel restrictions. This year, we have introduced an additional activity called the D2 Roundtable Update. This is a short 1 to 2 hour online session open to Australia D2 panel members and invited guests from within the panel members' organizations. The purpose of the Roundtable Update is to provide an avenue for targeted discussions on specific topic relevant to the Australia D2 panel. In each session, 2 or 3 subject matter experts recommended by panel members from his or her utility organization will present their views on a topic. The format is meant to inform the panel members on the current concerns and issues faced by other Australian utilities and to provide a platform for open discussions in a familiar environment among the utility peers. In March this year, we had our first Roundtable Update session on the topic of teleprotection over packet networks. We saw 31 participants with presentations from Evo Energy, Endeavour Energy, and SA Power Networks. This first Roundtable Update was well received based on the feedback from the panel members. The second Roundtable Update was held in June on the topic of cybersecurity frameworks for power utilities. We had 26 participants with 2 presentations from Origin Energy and SA Power Networks. This session was also very well received and was important in informing the panel members the current cybersecurity initiatives in Australia and the current challenges and plans, especially around AES-CSF assessment and compliance. In July this year, we had our annual Australia D2 panel meeting, also held in an online format due to the COVID travel restrictions over 2 sessions. We had 37 participants and 20 presentations over the 2 days. Based on the Australia panel member updates during the meeting, the current issues and concerns in the Australian power utilities relate also to the international ones that I've described earlier. These are some of the issues observed within the Australian context. Legacy network migration continues to be in focus, with some utilities embarking on a replacement cycle of legacy technologies. We find that member utilities are in various stages in this aspect. Some utilities are well into operating a packet-based network, some have started integrating teleprotection into the packet-based network, and some are in the planning stage. Cybersecurity uplift and compliance towards international standards such as the IEC 62443, ISO 27001, and of course the AES-CSF, which stands for Australian Energy Sector Cybersecurity Framework. There is a high level of activity among panel members in the organization's assessment and preparation to meet AES-CSF requirements. We also see cybersecurity requirements being formally adopted in project life cycles, for example, having cybersecurity requirements embedded and included in projects' technical specifications. Other trends observed in the OT space include wider use and deployment of IEC 61850, adoption of additional security controls in the substation, with next-generation firewalls being deployed in the substation, use of IoT and machine learning for condition monitoring, legacy RTU replacement to DNP3 over IP RTUs, advanced metering, battery system upgrades with trialing of different substation battery chemistry type, and radio system upgrades. Looking forward, in 2022, Study Committee D2 will co-lead with Study Committee C6 in the Kyoto Symposium. Depending on the travel situation, I'm planning to present a tutorial on software-defined network and network function virtualization for power utilities based on the work of Working Group D243. Then in July next year, we will be having our regular Australia D2 meeting. This should be when we will finally be able to resume our face-to-face in-person panel meeting. In August 2022, the Paris session will be held, and of course, due to the successful and beneficial roundtable updates, we plan to have 2 or 3 roundtable updates over the course of next year. Finally, I would like to keep you informed on some changes in the D2 leadership. As I have come to the end of my term as the Australia D2 panel convener, a new convener will succeed me. I would like to congratulate Louise Watts for being appointed the new Australia D2 panel convener. Louise is a telecommunications engineer for SA Power Networks and has been involved and has contributed to SIGRE for many years. She has been a member of multiple SIGRE working groups and has written a SIGRE paper in 2020. I have full confidence that Louise will lead the panel very effectively. I'd like to say that it has been a great pleasure leading the D2 Australia panel for the last 6 years, and I thank all my panel members for such great support you have been providing me over the years. It is not often I get to be part of a group of professionals with such great sense of camaraderie. The other change is that I have been appointed the convener of the International Study Committee D2 starting in 2022 after the Paris session. I thank the outgoing convener Olga Sinyanko for her support and for her dedication in leading D2 for the past 2 years. I am truly honored and look forward to leading and contributing to D2 and a wider SIGRE. Thank you.